Welcome everybody. I'm so glad to see you, and kind of have a hybrid event here today. So many of you are here, and we know many of you are online. This is the first event that we've had since 2019, back in the days that we now consider normal, and we're happy to start back again. We appreciate you being here. It's also the first event that we're using some new technology, the live streaming this on a YouTube channel. And so with any new technology, as always, we keep our fingers crossed that everything works just fine and how we hope it will. We're here to honor and thank those who exemplify shared vision and values and mission of the department. As you know, we have 6 divisions that all have different statutory responsibilities, but we use the tagline that we're safer when we work together, so safer together. And it really does talk about who we are. Whenever we come together to collectively tackle problems, we always tackle them much better. So that's what we're about today. That's what these awards are about. We received a near record-breaking number of nominations this time. 71 nominations for 63 individuals and teams, which is outstanding. That's nearly double the number submitted last year, and it's only 1 nomination shy of the nominations that we had in 2020. Today we're going to briefly highlight the nominees and the award winners, and you can find and read their stories in more detail in the event program. For those of you that are sitting here in person at the table, you'll see a QR code in the middle of the table. You can scan that to view the program. If you're watching online, we'll drop a link in the chat so that you can see the program as well. And you can also find the link in the YouTube video description on the CDPS intranet. I want to, before we get started, thank our selection committee for the hard work of pouring through an enormous amount of really great nominations. Sarah Allen, Melissa Leinberger, Susan Medina, Sheila Scanlon, Debbie O'Donnell, and Deputy Director Jana Locke and Teresa Staples. Thank you for all that hard work. It's not an easy thing to pick, everybody's a winner with regards to their nominations, and selecting one of the people for the great nominations is always a difficult job. I'd also like to thank the event chair, Patricia Billinger, and the committee that put this together. That's Helena Shea, Karen Murphy, Mike O'Neill's team, including Jenny Frechette and John Gordon. Thank you for this event, for everything that you've done to organize it, to make this happen, for those of you here in person and for those at home. I want to thank the CSP Public Affairs section for your help in supporting this event, Gary Cutler and Josh Lewis. Thank you for that. Helping with the live stream, and Mark Stahl for taking photos. Thank you, Christine Marino, for your detailed proofreading of so many names and so many pages of nominees. And finally, I want to thank everyone who took the time to share and submit a nomination to recognize your well-deserved colleagues. So we're going to get right into the program here in a minute, but I do want to take just one moment to say a word. I woke up this morning and turned on the TV and saw everything that is bombarding us with images from Florida this morning. And I thought for a moment about our counterparts down there and what they must be going through, that the pressure they're under, the weight that's on their shoulders to make every decision a perfect decision, to try to solve every single problem that's there, and going through that exercise of picking which problems to solve first and which to try to find somebody else to solve the ones that they can't. It gives me a great deal of comfort to know that we work together, that all of you are part of this department, and to know that if that were to happen here in Colorado, and we have had our own disasters, as you know, I couldn't imagine a better team to go into that crisis with. And I just hope that you all keep your counterparts in mind that are down there, and keep the thoughts and prayers going for the people that are most affected and adversely affected down in Florida, especially the public safety partners that are leaning into that really hard this morning. So with that, we're going to begin our ceremony. We have 6 award categories. Each division director will present one of the awards. We will share the stories of the award winners in each category, and then we'll recognize the nominees who were not selected, but who deserve to have their contributions highlighted. We're going to start with CBI Director John Camper presenting the Engagement Award. About the Engagement Award. Our people are at the heart of our mission. It takes engaged employees working together to successfully deliver services to protect the public. The Engagement Award honors those who make you want to show up every day and give you your all. For
people who serve and for each other, the people who make our department a rewarding place to work, who have your back, who make it a pleasure to serve. In addition to building an engaging workplace, these nominees engage our stakeholders and the public in our life-saving mission.
Thanks, Director. Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's good to see everybody, both here and online. Our 2022 Engagement Award winner is Colorado State Patrol Captain Ian Whittington. So, Captain. Captain Whittington received actually 5 separate nominations, which really speaks to what a positive impact he has on others around him. Captain Whittington set a bold goal to reduce deaths on the highways patrolled by Troop 3A in Weld County. One nominator wrote that Captain Whittington has, quote, done more to affect the fatal rates than any other captain I've ever worked with. He's tried different approaches that have gained tremendous results towards our core mission of saving lives, and in doing so, we brought down the fatal crash epidemic in Weld County dramatically. Thanks to the team's efforts, Weld County has seen almost 50% reduction in fatal crashes. Captain Whittington achieved this success by creating an engaging work environment and by engaging the community partners as well. His nominators said that Captain Whittington makes troop members feel welcome and appreciated. He takes the time to actively listen and to learn about his employees and to recognize them for their individual and team accomplishments. There are small, frequent gestures like sending welcome and farewell notes, writing letters of gratitude, hosting celebrations, as well as the mountains he moves to take care of his people. In one example, a medical emergency sidelined an employee for the better part of the year. Captain Whittington was there for the family on a daily basis, taking care of the wife, the mother, the mother-in-law, and the rest of the extended family because he cares deeply about everyone.
With the Greeley area, I'm in the corner of the state, but I think it has so much in common with everyone who's in this room and the teams that we all get to work with. It has to do with the definition of the best job. I think the best job that anyone can have is one where they get to share the company of people whose values that they share, and share the company of people whose company they enjoy. And I think that's a great definition of what we, as CDPS partners, get to enjoy on a day-to-day basis. The job only gets better when we're able to provide meaningful service to the community, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been and have done that, and I know everyone in this room shares that sentiment with me. And finally, the job can be the best when you're part of a winning team, and I think we all get that opportunity every day with DPS. So thank you both, and thank you, directors.
Well deserved. Congratulations, Captain Whittington. Now let's take a moment to recognize the other nominees in the Engagement Award category. The DHSCL Colorado Homeland Security Strategy Team for their use of GIS technology to quantify Colorado's resources and create a more detailed understanding of private sector supply chain networks. Also, CBI's own Nicolette Starkey for always being positive, professional, and offering to help and train others. And then Stephanie Ellis and Jeremiah Marquis for implementing a new work order system that is easy to use, effective, and saves time for CDPS employees. So let's give all those nominees and Captain Whittington a great round of applause for the CDPS employees.
Great job, John. Thank you very much. So next up is the EDI Award. It's presented by BCJ Director Joe Tony. The Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Award recognizes key agents of change who make a significant contribution towards achieving our department's vision of weaving equity, diversity, and inclusion into every aspect of the department. They foster collaboration. They create a safe, supportive, and welcoming atmosphere at CDPS where people of all backgrounds feel included, valued, and heard. And they help build morale, relationships, and intentional awareness. Joe?
Thank you, Director. Good morning, everybody. It's an absolute honor to be up here for this class of awards. We have two winners in this category, an individual and a team. I want to start with our individual winner, Crystal Owen from the Division of Criminal Justice, and share a little bit share also that the team award goes to the Focus Groups and Survey Project team. Congratulations to all of them. Crystal, you can come up and join us. Crystal and former DCJ member Carrie, it's wonderful to see you here today as well. We miss you, and your legacy in this category is as rich as it is with Crystal, so come back anytime. Producer training and unconscious bias to help others become aware of their own biases and identify when it shows up, to deconstruct the bias and decision-making that occurs in Colorado's community corrections programs as it relates to people with systemically marginalized identities, and to learn how to disrupt our own bias and the bias we observe in others. They originally intended the training for community corrections programs and boards. It was so well received and so well socialized that they also had, at their request, added treatment agencies, child welfare, human services agencies, public defenders, and probation, taking the training in collaboration within the programs of the county. This is so important in our community corrections programs because of the way all of those entities interact to get the outcomes we need in community corrections. To give you an idea of how powerful the training was, here are a few comments from the participants. Understanding that most of our actions are unconscious and not even realizing it, taking time to think things through and slow down, is going to be something I need to work on. Mission accomplished, folks. Secondly, it really made me think about things from every perspective, from the management side all the way down through to the clients. Very insightful, and there were all kinds of explanation points behind that you need to know. And then finally, as a leader, I recognize the need for diversity and equity. Again, another round of applause for Crystal. Thank you. And now, a little bit about our team award winner, Focus Groups and Survey Project team. This team set out to collect data to inform our EDI efforts across CDPS. They ended up uncovering the voices and stories of our members and building trust and understanding in the process. This project was a collaborative effort involving every division of CDPS members across Colorado. They worked over the course of nearly 2 years to gather rich, meaningful data and stories that provide a critical baseline to inform our efforts to achieve our EDI goal, making CDPS a welcoming, inclusive place where everyone can thrive. I gotta say, as a sidebar, as we are interviewing people, you all have these vacancies, right? We're at about 27%. The folks that are coming on board, one of the reasons they're coming over is they're so excited about what's happening in this department around EDI, and it gets called out. They approached the data in a sensitive, inclusive way. This thoughtful approach created a space for CDPS employees felt safe to bring their full identities to the table, to open up their honesty and transparency, and to share difficult personal experiences. The team conducted 7 separate focus groups engaged in the cross-sectional representation of the rich diversity of our employees. And a personal thanks to people that are in here, and your teammates, team members who participated in those focus groups. These guys made it happen, but you got those guys informed it. It was a very rich experience. Next, the department-wide survey validated the findings of the focus groups and provided a baseline we can use to measure our forward progress towards our goals. When the results of this long-term project were presented to all CDPS employees this summer, numerous individuals commented how grateful they were for such a powerful presentation of who we are and where we stand. People appreciated the transparency and honesty as we look in the mirror and assess how we're doing. Pretty good with recognition that we have lots of room for improvement. And I think, Patricia, you're going to share a couple of words and call out our friends. Thank you so much.
just like to dedicate this award to two members of our team, Keith Hodges and Susan Trickett. They were both members of DCJ and they were members of this family. Unfortunately, both of them died of different health reasons over the last year and a half. And I think they were wonderful members of our team, and their unexpected deaths remind us just how important EDI is. We never know how much time we have on this earth, ourselves or people we work with, and every interaction matters. And EDI is about that, of making every interaction with every coworker, every person we meet, a wonderful and inclusive experience, because we never know if that's the last time that you will interact with that person. Sorry to be morbid, but I think it's so. Thank you all, and thank you for all for participating in our EDI efforts.
Joe, do you want to talk about the other nominees?
Thank you, everybody. I know that Joe wants to mention a few of the nominees in this category, but we're really proud of the team and proud of everybody that's been part of this work and proud of what we're doing in the department. Thank you.
This happens a lot in the executive management team. Director Hilke says, Joe, you forgot something. So here I am back at the podium. Let me get my notes back together here. So let's take a moment again to give kudos to the other nominees in the EDI award category. This was original. This is demonstration of how important it is to everybody that's a member of this department. Patricia, again, you were a nominee for your leadership on EDI communications, data and research, accessibility, transparency, and reporting. I see Alberto Lopez is here, our friend from DCJ. Nominated for your significant role in both internal and external outreach, organizing lunch and learn speakers, hosting the Let's Get Connected channel, and serving as a CDPS ambassador at events like the Dragon Boat Festival and the Cesar Chavez Day. Great work. Glad to call you a teammate. The EDI support team for the daily and weekly servant leadership, support, hard work. They perform and implementing the department's EDI goals and programs. And the HR recruitment and selection team for implementing new processes for addressing pay equity for new and existing CDPS employees. Lots of recognition around this, noticing how important it is to make us a successful and inclusive organization. Let's give them all a round of applause for their hard work.
Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate it. Our next award is going to be presented by Chief Matt Patrick. It's the Leadership Award. These awards are for excellence in leadership. Outstanding leaders don't
just lead, they pave the way for others to succeed. They communicate clear vision and collaborate to set smart goals. They empower, inspire, and motivate their team to achieve those goals. And they lift others up through coaching, mentoring, and help along the way. Excellent leaders listen and incorporate the ideas and feedback of diverse voices. They create the framework for employees to live our values of honor, unity, and service. Chief?
Thanks very much, Director. It's a pleasure and honor to be here today to recognize so many incredible members of the public safety family. It's really an honor to be a part of this group. And I have the very fortunate opportunity to recognize two leaders that stand out above a whole bunch of leaders in our department, the folks that have really displayed excellence in this category of leadership. I'm proud to tell you the winners for our 2022 Excellence in Leadership Award are Sergeant Kyle Titi with the Colorado State Patrol, and also Nicolette Starkey from CDI. So congratulations to both of our winners. Sergeant Titi never misses an opportunity to ensure his troopers are striving to be better today than they were yesterday. And he goes that I know that Kyle has displayed throughout his entire career. My memory is right. Kyle Montrose, the academy here, and now is a sergeant in Adams County. He is a driven member of the state patrol who inspires through leading by example. It is not a road. There has never been a whiteout blizzard, torrential thunderstorm, or over-hour shift that I haven't been able to look over my shoulder and see it just as cold, wet, and tired as we were. I watched him command the scenes of fatal crashes, direct extended road closures, and build unbreakable bonds of trust with his team while humbly saying,
It's just part of the job. Through his guidance, Sergeant T2 has kept his team engaged during a trying time for law enforcement and inspires them to work together to accomplish the overall goals of safeguarding life. He teaches professional and courteous interactions with the general public and ensures his team members deliver the best service they can offer to local communities. His encouragement and mentorship led members of his team to achieve top DUI enforcement numbers in the state, as well as national recognition from the Mothers Against Drunk Driving for their contribution to keeping the road safer for impaired drivers. Additionally, his team has received multiple compliments and letters of praise from in-state as well as out-of-state drivers for their positive interactions. His contributions not only serve the betterment of the state patrol and public safety, but the entire state of Colorado. So, Kyle, congratulations and well done.
I just wanted to take a second and just say thank you. I actually selected that I wasn't going to say anything, but I had a chance to do that, and it's the troopers that are out there doing the work every day that deserve the praise, and so I just wanted to say thank you for them, because I truly have the best team in the state, and they make my job easy, so thank you.
Alright, now we can hear a little bit about Nikki Starkey. So Nikki received 2 nominations in this category, and we may recognize her as a nominee in our engagement category as well. So, moving along here. As a leader, Nikki excels at tailoring her leadership style to meet the needs of those under her purview. Her approach is never the same, but adapts to complement the different learning styles of her trainees. Despite the difficulties of training multiple individuals at the same time, Nikki also finds time to attend her own duties, assist colleagues whenever and wherever needed, give sufficient time and attention to employees, respond to questions, and research the answers to questions she can't immediately answer. Nikki fosters a positive environment by seeking to get to know her colleagues and trainees on a personal yet professional basis. One thing that is immediately clear about Nicolette upon meeting her is that she cares a great deal about the people that surround her. She is interested in the person and not merely the employee. She learns and remembers the names and faces of all her colleagues, new and old. As one nominator wrote, a great leader is someone who makes you feel known. All of these traits of hers are topped off by an uncommon kindness and empathy. Nikki, thank you for making CDPS a wonderful place to work. Congratulations.
I wasn't going to say anything, but that's very humbling. So I wanted to just thank everybody, thank my colleagues, everybody who's involved. And it's my pleasure to actually work for CBI and work for everybody that I've been training. And it's just a pleasure. Thank you very much.
And I'd like to share with you a little bit about other outstanding leaders who are nominated in this category. Adam Garcia for taking the initiative and spending countless hours to make sure our newest infantry members have the best training possible and fostering opportunities for officers to advance and improve. Jenna Kitchell for her kindness, patience, constant smile, and mentoring with positive feedback. Kristen Ullman for serving as a mentor to Seal Bridge interns and for her ambassadorship to numerous community corrections councils and programs. Sergeant Aaron Lang for leading the CSP interdiction team to success in seizing thousands of pounds of illicit narcotics. Stephanie Trady for her leadership of the Pueblo CDI Forensic Services Lab for managing people to managing building vendors and software systems. Chi Robinson for ensuring continued excellent service from the EEO to DHSEM despite high turnover rates in the unit. Nora Haideen for helping to train new employees to do our job very efficiently and effectively. Elizabeth Owensby for her outstanding leadership of the State Emergency Operations Center through the pandemic and as incident commander for the Afghan refugee mission. Erica Rhodes for her innovation, determination, and calm even when times are stressful and hectic. And Jason Hebrar for always being there to assist with any issues when we encounter, especially when it comes to technological difficulties. So let's show them all a round of applause.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. What a diverse group of people, but they all have in common great leadership characteristics, and we are definitely proud of all of you and the opportunity to recognize you for everything that you do for us. The next award is going to be presented by Director Kevin Klein from the Division of Homeland Security Emergency Management. It is the GSD Award. The GSD Award honors those people who hunker down, pitch in, and get creative and get stuff done. This is our Unique Heroes Award, a way to recognize the people that we can always depend on to carry out our mission.
Hey, thanks, Dan. It's a real pleasure to be here, and it is such a wonderful team that we have at the department, and I'm just honored to be able to recognize some of the folks today. In the Get Stuff Done category, we have Claire Stewart, the DHSCN warehouse team, and the Edgar kidnapping investigation team as our winners. Let's start with Claire. In addition to all the stuff that Claire gets done on a day-to-day basis, Claire was given the responsibility of cleaning Building 53 at Camp George West. This is the old State Civil Defense Calibration Laboratory where Cold War Geiger counters were serviced. This needed to be completed before the end of the fiscal year while we still had funds available. This was no simple spring cleaning. It was a complicated and daunting project involving complex disposal requirements, potential hazards, and a lot of stuff. Claire used her outstanding project management skills to overcome a tight timeline and multiple variables. She definitely coordinated, including the CDPS procurement team, Colorado State Patrol Hazardous Materials Response Team, History Colorado, the State Archives, and the National Museum of Civil Defense. Who knew there was such a thing? Claire had successfully managed the various entities involved in the cleanup, managing the unexpected cost overruns, and turned the building back over to CDPS in a safe condition. Although none of this was part of her regular responsibility, Claire found a way to get this daunting project done in a safe manner and before the deadline. Great work, Claire. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for the recognition. While it seems like this project at times could potentially be never ending, it was very interesting, and I'm thankful to our Chief of Staff for the opportunity and for trusting me to get the job done. I do think it's important to mention that it can be really difficult to get stuff done without a really good team beside you. I work with one of the best teams in the Chief of Staff section at DHSEM, and our leadership in the division is always supportive and creates an environment where we're able to do our jobs and do it well. So thank you.
Our first team award for Get Stuff Done is the DHSEM warehouse team. This small but mighty team, led by Jeff Min with Lydia Woodsmall, John Kimball, Epsy White, and Sam Trujillo, faced a Herculean task from day one. At the time, COVID-19 was raging, and DHSEM was receiving 15 to 20 truckloads of PPE per day. A task a much larger warehouse staff would struggle to handle. Next, they had to organize, consolidate inventory over $130 million worth of PPE stored across 2 warehouses in the metro area, an off-site location in Alamosa, 39 tractor trailers serving as temporary off-site storage, and simultaneously they're shipping PPE to medical institutions and state departments all over Colorado to mitigate the spread of COVID. As any one of these tasks would be enough to keep a 10 warehouse workers busy, this small staff of stalwarts also managed to support 2 government-directed programs, the School Master Program and the PPE and COVID test kits to community distribution points. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the team distributed 68 million masks, 53 million gloves, 970,000 medical gowns, 398,000 face shields, 286,000 goggles, 270,000 packages of disinfecting wipes, and 9,000 bottles of hand sanitizer. While the lion's share of their effort has been in support of the response to COVID, They were also instrumental in the response to the Marshall Fire, the Afghan settlement mission, and a special assignment to deliver body armor to the conflict in Ukraine. I can't tell you how proud I am of this great team. And Jeff, would you like to say a few words? Sure.
Thank you so much, sir. It's really cool to be up here. I just want to say the warehouse team is still a relatively young, new member of CDPS and DHSEM. But since we joined the team, we got nothing but support from both DHSEM and CDPS leadership. So I want to thank everyone for that support. But most of all, I want to thank the guys that earned this award. There's a saying of moving proverbial mountains of product, and they didn't move proverbial mountains, they moved actual mountains of PPE all over the state. So I want to thank you guys for your hard work. There were times at the height of the Delta surge and the Omicron surge where I had to force these guys to take lunch. And they worked their butts off, and I just want to thank you guys. You truly do deserve this. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeff. Great job, guys. All right, we have another Get Stuff Done Team Award, and this time it's from the CBI. This is for the Edgar Kidnapping Investigation Team. In case you thought that the HSEM was going to hog all the GSD glory this year, we have plenty of our non-GSD stuff that we're experiencing. But CBI, you guys really did a spectacular job here. This is a case that had the markings of a spellbinding Netflix movie. Several members of the CBI worked tirelessly to locate and ensure the safety of a Uyghur woman who was kidnapped at gunpoint and forced on a journey with her captor across multiple states earlier this year. Joseph Beecher forced his way into the ranch of former New York State Mayor Michael Bloomberg in Meeker on the morning of February 2nd, 2022. Madam Edgar was the head housekeeper of the Bloomberg Ranch at the time. Beecher kidnapped her at gunpoint, forcing her to leave with him in her truck. The Rio Blanco County Sheriff's Office requested assistance of the CBI and federal authorities for their expanded resources and expertise. They learned Beecher took Edgar to the Denver metro area for several stops and then on to Wyoming later in the evening. The CBI investigative team worked without pause to locate Edgar while developing information about the suspect. They worked in concert with the Rio Blanco County Sheriff's Office as well as the FBI to track the suspects and victim as quickly as possible. This was achieved through countless interviews with staff at the ranch, the family of the victim, contacts related to the suspect, and others. The team also worked to track charges made to credit cards associated with the victim, as well as cell phones and an iPad to eventually identify the location of the suspect vehicle. Meanwhile, CBI analysts went to work to build a comprehensive profile detailing the suspect's criminal history, social media presence, and other investigative elements. Leadership from the CBI investigations worked closely with Mr. Bloomberg and his staff to provide updates on the case and to relay other information so the security team could take precautions to protect his family from any additional threats. They also worked with Mr. Bloomberg's PR team, the Rio Blanco County Sheriff's Office, to provide media updates related to the active situation, especially since this story quickly escalated into an international news event. Their collaborative investigative work determined that Beecher had held Edgar at the Stagecoach Motel in Cheyenne. Members of the Cheyenne Police Department SWAT team conducted an operation and later arrested Beecher without incident at the hotel in the early mornings of February 3rd, 2022. With few leads at the onset of the case, the tenacity and superior skill set of the entire CBI investigative team helped bring a safe conclusion to this critical incident. Kudos to everyone on this team. All right, thank you.
Just want to say thank you to the executive director, and we're honored to receive this award, but we're also mindful of our partnerships that led to the successful conclusion. thank them for all those partnerships and for everybody that participated in the investigation and follow-up. So thank you very much.
All right. We know that the Department of Public Safety is full of people who get stuff done. So let's take a moment to recognize our nominees for this category. Jesse Hansen for shepherding the Office of Domestic Violence and Offender Management through the sunset review process and stepping up to plan and pull off the conference of 375 people when an event coordinator position was vacant. Kylie Hager for going above and beyond to ensure CBI agents succeed in casework. Travis Zarila for getting BFB seasonal attack crew members trained to their fullest ability so that one team can function at peak performance. Russ Shugart for being the go-to guy in OIT, handling a huge volume of IT tasks related to onboarding and offboarding CDPS employees and finding a way to fix issues when things are broken, which I have to admit I've taken advantage of a few up there, Russ, so thank you. CSP Troop 4C for making contacts with nearly 7,000 motorists and handling more than a dozen special events during the past fiscal year, despite covering at 50% staffing for much of that time. Valerie Schemper for ferrying BCJ and OIT through the first agile software contract to rebuild the state's online billing system for community corrections. Nora Haini for her work training new employees of the Biometric Identification Records Unit in CDPS. The Capital Development Team of Angela Manus and Mike Moore for somehow completing more than 100 projects last year with just a two-person team. Christopher Hudak for organizing numerous stakeholders in recovery at the HSEM. He put task forces together and played a leadership role in the Marshall Fire response and recovery efforts. Laura Renville for her work going beyond regular hours, helping firefighters all over the state with the VFPC's testing and certification program. And Allison Oceani for stepping up to cover significant position gaps in two separate branches of the State Patrol. Not only learning the positions, but collaborating across chains of command and identifying efficiencies to leave the branches better off than when she started. So please join me in giving these nominees
Thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you all to the winners and nominees
in this category. As you know, the GSD award is something that I brought to the department from a former life. It means a lot to me. I'm so grateful for everybody that really steps up and does all the work that we need to do, and there's no shortage of work, there's no shortage of problems to solve. I'm particularly grateful for DHSEM, their staff for tackling some really intense problems. Claire, your work is amazing, your team is amazing. The warehouse crew, shattered expectations with regards to the ability to do the work that they did. And the CBI team that helped solve that kidnapping. Many of you know that I am from Meeker, Michael County, where this occurred. Who would have thought there would be something like that happen there? Who would have thought that Michael Bloomberg would even own a ranch in Meeker? And, a lot of times we don't get the pleasure of knowing what we prevent. Because many times we're so far upstream, we solve problems before they ever become a problem, and it's really hard to see what we prevent. But let me tell you, there's a living, breathing human being walking around Michael County now that is a prime example of what we prevent, because there's no doubt in any of our minds that she was destined for something very, very, very terrible, probably within minutes of the time that she was rescued. So I think CBI, your work there and your work with the partners that you worked with Michael County and the FBI and the Cheyenne authorities saved a life. There's just no question about it. So thank you for that. All right, up next is the Innovation or the Superior Service Award presented by Mike Morgan. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Got out of line. The next award is the Innovation Award presented by Deputy Director Jana Locke. The innovation has been a top focus for CDPS over the last several years. Our department has a culture of continuous improvement where we encourage creativity and problem solving. Every day, if you look around, you can find examples of forward-thinking staff who are finding new ways to improve how we get our mission done. Whether that's on the front line of saving lives and fighting fires, or behind the scenes improving how we manage information and billing. During the pandemic and since then, we have challenged you to reinvent the ways we deliver public safety services, and you have risen to the occasion. Jenna?
Good morning. Okay, thanks. Good morning. Innovation is a team sport, so we have 2 team winners in this category. The first of which is the CDI Concealed Handgun Permit team. Come on up. The InstaCheck CHP section has demonstrated innovation in the design, testing, and implementation of a paperless concealed handgun renewal process. This improvement revolutionized how the section conducts its business. Previously, CHP renewals had to be manually mailed from the 64 county sheriffs and CPI, where they were entered in the online system. The entire process took up to several weeks to get a single renewal into the system. The new system can take less than 5 minutes. This innovation saves time in the sheriff's office, reduces paper waste, eliminates the expense of manually mailing documents, and has reduced the workload of reviewing renewal applications. Great work, team. James Sloan is the leader of this team. James, do you want to say a word?
Good morning, everyone. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names that I haven't seen in quite a while, so that's wonderful. I just want to take a moment. Innovation, look, we can't always just grind our people into the ground to make things go quicker, faster, better. So anytime you finish a process, be ready to start moving. Look for those things that you can make improvements on, processes. We work with our stakeholders, with the sheriffs. And as executive director, you know, trying to get all the 64 counties to do the same thing at the same time, that can be a little challenging. But we made that process down to, it could be down to minutes and hours instead of weeks and months. So during COVID, of course, we couldn't get out there. I had my people working in PPE because they're dealing with hard copy applications. So you never know what was coming in. But now it's all electronic process. Sheriffs put it in. We can see it almost as soon as they put it in, it's processed, and my people do the real job, which is to process and run the fire and eligibility background check. So I just want to say thank you for the nomination. The recognition goes to my team for all their hard work. I appreciate it, and thank you very much.
The second group we would like to honor are the employees who innovated and found a way to keep our time, leave, and payroll records going in the face of a nationwide outage. The Kronos Outage Problem Solvers team. In December 2021, Kronos unexpectedly shut down. CDPS suddenly no longer had a system to record time and track movement to employees. With no solid estimate when the system would be available again, this team was unwilling to allow an outage to adversely impact employee pay. The team faced a daunting challenge. CDPS has a very complex system due to the nature of our work. A single individual's time card could include calculations for shift differential, overtime, leave without pay, in addition to other parameters such as multiple funding streams. Multiply that by about 2,000 employees, and you can see how this gets really complicated really fast. This team, with the help of Corey Meyer and Dan Quinn, came up with a solution using spreadsheets and project management software. All of this was done, of course, to make sure employees got paid correctly and on time. The CDPS team had to make something that would fill the void and roughly mimic the critical features of Kronos in a matter of a couple of weeks, and they did. Let's give them a hand for their innovative problem-solving. And I'm so proud of this fantastic team. Sally
Thank you, Jenna. Morning, everyone. I would just like to say thank you for the support and recognition with this award. I'm really proud to be a part of this team and also our organisation. We knew that we had to act really quickly when we learned of the UKG outage for Kronos, and so we partnered with our HR partners, Corey and Deanna, and we came up with some solutions, implemented some tools and processes that were still compliant with our rules, and we did it in amazingly fast time, so it was incredible work by the team, so we're really proud of you, and thank you so much.
We are all grateful for their work. We also want to thank and recognize the other CDPS nominees. Stephanie Ellis for being the MacGyver at the EDO and for her work improving the fire drill process at the Midland campus. Kevin Rance and Anastasia Shoemaker for launching the Skill Bridge internship program at CDPS that provides highly skilled internships at no cost to the department. And McKenna Dixon for her consistently innovative way of ensuring that TLO members have immediate and real-time access to threat-related information. Thank you all for leading the way on innovation at CDPS.
Thank you, Jenna. I appreciate that. And congratulations. I'm particularly grateful for the Kronos outage team. It's a little interesting. Many times, people that either work in EDO or work in support functions are supporting those that are actually dealing with the crisis. In this case, the crisis was right there. It was dealt with expertly by the team, and we're really grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the nominees in that category. Now we're on to our final award, presented by Mike Morgan. The final award is the Superior Service Award. These nominees provide outstanding service, whether to internal partners or external partners. They find answers, handle issues, and resolve problems to keep customers satisfied. And they do so with enthusiasm. We are so pleased to see how many stories we received of CDPS members delivering outstanding customer service. Mike?
It's fine. It's okay. I guess first thing I want to make a comment here is that I appreciate being up here. I started as a volunteer firefighter in Rifle in 1986. And as I look around this room when I'm standing on this stage and I look around, and if you'd have told me in 1986 I would get the opportunity to be a part of this family and this team that is truly the best of the best in the state of Colorado, I'd have said you're crazy. So it's an honor to be here with all of you and such a great group of people to work with. We had more than 20 nominations in this category, so you can imagine how difficult it was to narrow it down just to 2 winners, one individual and one team. The individual Superior Service Award winner is Sally Bowman. Early in fiscal year 22, Sally found herself leading the efforts of 2 massive changes with enormous impacts for CDPS members. First, the shifting but nevertheless ongoing nature of the pandemic led to national and state legislative changes related to public health emergency as well as extensions of public health orders. Second, the state entered into a brand new partnership agreement that is incredibly complex and affects a variety of aspects of employee pay, time, and leave. With the partnership agreement changes underway, another tsunami-level event occurred with the national disruption of Kronos. As you may recall from the last award, Sally led the efforts to establish a robust manual timekeeping and leave-taking system that within a matter of days allowed CDPS to comply with state personnel board rules regarding timekeeping requirements. Finally, Sally closed out the fiscal year with yet another example of outstanding service to protect employee pay and benefits from core experienced errors in fiscal year 8. She collaborated on the fiscal implications with the state controller and did so with a kind and friendly demeanor and confidence we all know and respect. This past year has been one of the most challenged for our payroll team, yet despite personnel shortages, an avalanche of abnormal business challenges, and unforeseen disruptions, Sally ensured that CDPS employees didn't suffer the consequences. Our employees never missed a day of pay, never missed out on benefits available from COVID legislation, and never once had to be worried about if they would or would not get paid. That peace of mind is worth more than an award. Sally, thank you. Our team award in this category goes to DFPC's Professional Qualifications and Training Section, or PQTS. These 8 team members provide critical training and certification services to the majority of Colorado's approximately 16,000 firefighters and 350 fire departments. PQTS focuses on removing the barriers to training and certification by providing free or low-cost access to training. The work is demanding both physically and mentally. However, they consistently show our internal and external customers a positive attitude and a willingness to help that goes beyond the minimum. Being a small group would be easy to say no. Instead, they address the issue, any issue that comes up head on. The team works tirelessly to meet the needs of our customers and go the extra mile to find a way to yes as soon as possible. The work they do is tied directly to the long-term health and safety of Colorado firefighters and their abilities to successfully address any emergency and protect our communities. Internally, the staff of PQTS is always ready and willing to lend a hand when another section of our program is in need. They added to their already long days by helping logistics haul equipment while their heavy equipment operator was on light duty. They assisted the Center of Excellence with installing lights, radios, and modems in the vehicles. They helped DFPC's Fireline Safety Section in developing a statewide sprinkler fitter exam on an aggressive schedule. Externally, it's hard to put into words just how much they do for Colorado's fire service. Over the past 5 years, the increase in training requests exceeded the capacity of the section, growing from 21 classes in 2016 to over 100 in 2021. Yet they continue to find ways to increase firefighter access to training without increasing staff. Between 2020 and 2021, the certification unit saw firefighter written testing increase 159%, and certifications increase 133%. Again, without an increase in staff support. The team understands that the work that they do is critical, and therefore are willing to support our customers regardless of the extra time needed to meet their needs. Thank you for your outstanding service, both to internal and external partners. We are told this team was happy to accept without any extra words, so let's have them come up to receive their award, which they already did, and have their folks give them a second round of applause.
I'm not always been a few words, Chief, but thank you for the award. There's a lot of us on our team that couldn't make it today. They're out around the state training firefighters, so wish they could be here with us to have this award. As Chief mentioned, we have grown quite a bit, and our numbers show that. We have a lot of support out there moving us forward in the direction we're looking to go. Ultimately, following the mission and vision of our section. But thank you for the award. You guys have a good day.
Okay, we're in the final stretch of this, so it's a doozy. Each of these nominees deserves the recognition we gave to our early award nominees, so please share your attention with us as we honor the CDPS members who were nominated in the Superior Service category. The DHSEM Afghan Refugee Incident Management Team for their work providing food and housing for more than 2,000 Afghan refugees. State Patrol Troop 3B out of Yuma for mobilizing to help over the Fort Morgan patrol area of the colleagues despite their short staff themselves. Master Trooper Gil, I get this wrong, Villavicencio, common spelling, for exceptional service with the courtesy and respect that earns him repeated thanks and kudos from the public we serve. CDPS Legislative Liaisons, Joel Malek and Mike Hahn, for successfully ushering through all 16 decision items for our department. Michelle Metzger, for unflappable and successful service to CDI and taking the largest decision item CDPS may have ever requested. Don Tolis, for taking over the fire investigations program when it transferred to DFPC from CDI and providing outstanding service to the fire agencies statewide. Bobby Jones, for her dependability, kindness, knowledge, and willingness to help whenever it is needed. Sarah Ives, for a variety of behind-the-scenes service, from managing stimulus funds to better equip teams statewide to completing salary and compensation analysis. The EEO accounting team for achieving the spotless office of the state auditor audit for CDPS, and not a single error to correct, which is almost unheard of in state agencies. Brian Cheek, for a year and a half of collaboration, tenacity, and problem solving to bring all older hospitals and clinics into compliance with life safety compliance. Delora Karabolis, for her 24/7 communication with the support from more than 900 agencies that depend on Colorado Resource Rate Program for resource deployment to all hazard incidents. Karen Baccarella, for helping out no matter how big or small the job. The HR employee engagement team for the consistent problem solving and creative solutions to challenges such as the Kronos outage, vaccination reporting and tracking requirements, and department wildly important goals. Kim Branham for advocacy for victims and commitment to resolution for numerous violations of the Victims' Rights Act and the contentious and highly publicized 12th Judicial District. Michelle Chansey for her service to the State Patrol, managing the full cycle of the cadet process, a high volume, complex process that is critical to addressing the staffing needs of the patrol. Chris Saline for her collaboration with OIT to launch an employee records management system, as well as consistent and great service that earns regular positive comments from our internal customers. I think it's such a statement to the outstanding customer service that CDPS members provide on a daily basis that we have so many deserving nominees. Let's give them another round of applause.
Thank you, Mike.
I could say, I'm going to tell a quick story. This is a story I could probably use any of one of your names in a very similar fashion. When we did the collection of the ballistic body armor and helmets to send to the Ukraine conflict, that took a lot of moving parts and a lot of logistics. And Colorado was one of the first states to get that task done. Many states followed suit. I had calls from all over the country. How did you do this? How did you do that? But the biggest question was, how did you get your material from Colorado to the military base in California to lift it to the Ukraine? And I said, I have a Josh. And, that's the kind of thing that I get to say a lot when people ask all the time, how did you do this? How did you do that? I say, I have a Patricia. I have a Teresa. I have a Sally. I have all of you. And that's just really representative of the department because we get a lot of stuff done. We do a lot of really good things, and it's all because of you. I just want to make sure that you all know that. Again, there is not an issue that I don't think that we can tackle together. It's a blessing, I think, to be able to be a part of you. And we want to thank you for being here today. Thank all of the award winners and all the nominees and everybody who deserves to be a nominee for many, many different reasons. This is just one way that we want to recognize people. I want to encourage everyone to recognize your peers throughout the year by utilizing the impressions function in SAVA, by passing along the CDPS Traveling Award, by nominating them for division awards, or just stopping by to say thank you. We're going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but I also want to make sure that you join us tomorrow. We're going to be doing another online live event as we do Hangout with Hilke down at United Rotorcraft where they're building the new DFPC Firehawk helicopter. Spoiler alert, it's not complete, so you'll see it in stages of construction. We do have the base helicopter delivered to us. It's a Black Hawk helicopter, and it will be turned into a Firehawk. So it should be interesting. I hope you'll follow us for that. And then just one logistical matter before we close out today is that for those teams that won awards today, there are team certificates that are going to be handed out during the reception. If you miss that opportunity, you can always just see Karen outside my office. But again, thank you to all the division directors. We appreciate your participation and help today and helping to make sure that we honor all of you. Thank you for being here, and for those of you that have joined us online or will join us online in a recorded version of this, we're grateful for your participation as well. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.